The 2010 emerging design leader, Kent Gration, is our first speaker this morning. Kent is best known for his award-winning Costello stool, which has received widespread recognition for its sustainable design. He worked as a designer for leading firms in Brisbane and Melbourne before establishing Integration Studio in 2004. Integration is a multidisciplinary design practice producing graphic, product and furniture design with a social and environmental conscience. Wham Bamboo is Kent's, let me say that again, Wham Bamboo is Kent's premier range of stylish functional furniture, bamboo furniture which highlights bamboo's versatility and sustainability. Kent's going to speak for 18 minutes precisely. Please welcome Kent Gration.
Okay, I'll try my best to speak for 18 minutes. I was just clicking through here. Just the arrows. Okay. Click off here. Yeah. Okay. Obviously, it looks like I'm not that technologically advanced.
Let me tell you how ironic it is that I'm showing someone how to use a computer.
That one, okay, yeah. Oh, I'm pressing it, but escape. Okay. Good old PCs. I'd just like to start with the first slide. This was actually at the awards presentation last year. And this, to me, there were essentially two questions, I guess, that you'd have liked to know. How did I get here and where to from here with the $10,000 award that I won? My background in design, I initially started out as a graphic designer for several years and then moved to Brisbane and got into product and furniture design. I actually studied a Master of Design at QCA Griffith University, which is just up the road, and looked at Eco Street Furniture and also product design alternatives to Queensland's Sharknet and Drumline program. And so with this, I think that 1 year was quite intensive in terms of research and study and gave me a lot of invaluable opportunities to actually explore environmentally aware design. The first seat was actually made from water cooler bottles and looked at reusing materials and really got me thinking about how to reuse and look at renewable materials in furniture. And this was actually exhibited at 100% Design Tokyo in 2005. And this is myself in the Bahamas researching magnetic and chemical repellent. So at that time I was quite diverse in terms of my areas of interest in design. And so from this, I guess I was actually invited at the same time to exhibit at the Salon Satellite in Milan in 2007. And at the time I didn't know what sort of material I was going to use. I just had a few concepts and I'd actually sent off some 3D concepts to them and then got knocked back the first year, and then the following year I said, look, what's the opening dates, when can I apply? And they already said that I was accepted. And so it's quite daunting for me coming out with a whole range of furniture and not knowing what sort of material I'd use at the time. So I had some concepts, and the first one was a Lucille lounge, which was the white lounge made from bamboo poles. And someone said to me, why don't you look at using bamboo poles? And so then I looked into using bamboo, and at the time people looked at bamboo as being this second-class material that was used in tiki huts and resort-style furniture. And I thought, well, there's a challenge. Why not actually use this material that has all these environmental benefits and is viewed upon as being this poor man's material, and look at positioning it in a high-end manner. And with that, I designed 4 pieces for the Salon Satellite in 2007 to showcase environmental benefits and the versatility of bamboo. And at the time, there wasn't that many, I guess, environmental initiatives and designers using the products at the time. And the year later, they actually themed the Salon Satellite as a green exhibition. And from then on, I designed a whole range of pieces, and I think there's about 20 pieces in the range now. So it's quite extensive in the time frame of about 3 years. And this piece I've just designed recently in the last 6 months, which is the Constellation Light. This piece was actually designed looking at material necessity and looking at how things can be flat packed. So this is actually designed using straight components which can be put into a tube, and that tube actually seconds as a homemade telescope. So it's looking at how a package can actually have a second use and not just discarded and thrown away, and looking at how the theme here is constellation. So it's looking at the stars and seeing how people can interact, and also it was about connecting people in different parts of the world. And this piece was, because I took it to Shanghai, 100% Design Shanghai, was about using a material that was endemic to the Asia Pacific region but combining it with Australian design. And this was actually the Asia Pacific Design Library, which is just next door, which you'll all be able to see after the presentations. And I was commissioned by Tori Jones to come up with 17 lights. Now, before this, I'd only actually made one prototype. So to me, I thought, well, how hard can making 17 lights be? And it was quite involving. Like, there's 3 different sizes, they're all different heights, and to actually factor in the fact that it's on 2 levels and looking at the different lighting that was involved, because there's natural light and also artificial light. So it was quite complex, even though it looks quite simple. And the great thing about this space is it engages the design community in discourse and research and documentation about design in the Asia Pacific region. And this was actually part of the Asia Pacific Unlimited triennial last year. And that was actually the first part of what I did with the bursary. So the idea was to exhibit the constellation lights in Australia, in Brisbane, and also in 100% Design Shanghai. So there's that connection between, I guess, the Asia Pacific in terms of design information and environmentally aware design. And my first stop was Hong Kong Polytechnic, and I gave a guest lecture there about the use of bamboo and modern applications. And for me at the time, as you can see, there's quite a lot of modern industrialised facilities and processes that the students have access to. So for me it was about discussing with them bamboo, which I guess because of the cultural portrayal of it in places such as Hong Kong, it was seen as a second-class material. And the students were quite interested in the modern applications of it, the fact that it could be used in textiles and carpentry products and a whole range of applications. So for me that was quite interesting, the fact that a lot of these students, it was endemic to their, I guess, their character and their culture, bamboo, but for them it was seen as being this, again, a poor man's material. Interesting thing about Hong Kong is it's quite eclectic in terms of, I think, its aesthetic sensibilities, and there's so many iconic pieces built into this such quite dense area. And when I initially arrived in Hong Kong, the thing that really got me was these huge, tall, high-density buildings that have a really small footprint, and the fact that they were quite interesting in terms of their architectural contrast, and also that many of them had actually been built utilising bamboo in the scaffolding structure. And it actually still goes on today, so whether it's billboards or neon signs that are up 50 to 100 metres on a building, and a lot of these modern buildings still use bamboo scaffolding, which is quite awe-inspiring. The next stop on my trip was the Shanghai World Expo, and the thing that I wanted to do here was to actually engage and absorb a lot of the design, I guess the architectural aspects, and the fact that a lot of these pavilions are quite ephemeral in terms of they're there only for 6 months and then they're deconstructed. And so a lot of the design that goes into these pieces is about how to build interactivity and how to build into that so they can be constructed quite quickly, well, over a period of time, and then deconstructed. And there are 4 that are still existing, the UK Seed Cathedral building. So this building here was about the Royal Botanic Garden collection, and so the actual seeds are cast into the acrylic rods. And the interesting thing about all these is there's queues for 2, 3, 4, 5 hours to get into them. And that's the thing that really got me about the expo. Was I think I'd been to the Brisbane Expo many years ago as a child and thought, oh, 2 hours is nothing, you know, and then you forget until you actually get there and you see these queues. And I think for me the first day I actually spent was going around taking photos of them just to get a feel for them. And the ironic thing was that my camera actually ran out of battery and I lost half of my photos, because I'd taken so many photos in Hong Kong. And so I was able to go around with my mobile phone, like I have a mobile phone that's still had a bit of battery, so I was able to take a lot of these photos on my mobile phone. But as I say, that's the interesting thing about going to places such as these, and I think in the Asia Pacific at the time of last year there was so much creatively that was going on that it was quite timely that I won the award and had the opportunity to actually go over there and experience all